nothing Rotherham.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to New York Talk. This is the United Podcast. Thank you all for being with us again as we look ahead to a trip down south to Wimbledon with the players that are available. And we'll hopefully win away from home for the first time in a little while. But we'll talk everything we can possibly find with Matt related in the next hour or so. First of all, Mick's back. How you doing, Mick?
All good, mate. Thank you very much. You?
Yeah, very, very good. And Tom's back. How you doing, Tom?
Yeah, all good. Glad to be back.
Good stuff. And Scott's back. How you doing, mate?
Very well, thanks, mate. Are you?
Yeah, very, very good. Thank you. We have Luke in the comments. YouTube views is with us, as is Terry Fembis. Says, evening, everybody score more goals in the opposition to break the away curse. Easily done. Richard says, evening, all welcome to injuries are us. Andrew Barlow says, evening, all careful when you sit down. Don't need any new injuries on the show. Bailey Vernon says, evening, all. At least some promising news. We're referring to the injuries. Mixed bag this week of injuries. Steve Gunn is with us. Chris Page, obviously, okay, Jamie. Cheryl says, evening. When is it somebody else's turn for some injury woes? Yeah, there is some good news on the injury front at the minute, but we will start with bad news because I think that's what you meant to do. The man of the match from last week, Mick, Thomas Holmes, is now out for around 8 weeks, it's believed. It's in the weeks, not the months category. It just feels. We'll come on to the good news in a minute, but when they got confirmed by the club that he was injured, it was kind of like, well, that's another one.
Yeah. Who can we blame? Come on, we've got to find somebody to blame. We've got an hour now between us and people in comments. We must have somebody at the club who we can blame for this. Somebody's got to be responsible. It's ridiculous. I can't believe it. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's a nightmare, isn't it? It's an absolute nightmare. But what else can you say? You know, I mean, yeah. He has had his injury problems in the past, I think, hasn't he?
I think so.
But then which player hasn't? You know, some more than others, obviously. Yeah, suck it up. Like we had to suck the rest of them up. I don't see we've got a lot of choice, do you?
No. Well, it was absolutely gutted for Tom Holmes. Paramount says new sick note arrived at the stadium. I blame that. Yeah, and I'll be honest, Scott. Based on his Instagram post, he seems as gutted, if not more gutted, than all the Rotherham fans. To be honest with you, because he's not played in the calendar year too much. I think he was really excited, and he, by all accounts, felt the love by the Rotherham fans on Saturday, and then a day after, he's just his knees literally taken out.
Yeah, it's really bad. Unlucky for him, isn't it? I mean, I think when he signed, no one really knew that much about him, a bit 50-50. But by the end of 90 minutes, we were thinking, what a defender we've got here. You know, he's only 25, but he was a bit of a leader. And yeah, I mean, when I saw it on Monday, it broke, I think
so.
Or Tuesday. I thought it would wind up. I genuinely thought someone would just on a wind up. I think I saw it on a few fans' X accounts at first, and then I actually saw it, and yeah, I mean, you can't make it up, can you? With so unlucky. But yeah, I've seen his Instagram update that he's put on, and yeah, it comes across as just gutted, isn't it? So yeah, hopefully he's back soon.
No, absolutely, Tom. And it is just one of those things that, and it's one of those things difficult to say much about, really, because it was by the sound of it as a contact injury. He took a knock on his knee on Saturday, which didn't feel like anything, and then Sunday he's basically woke up and can't walk on it. So it's just one of those things that's frustrating, and yeah, we have to kind of move on.
Yeah, especially when he said that he fractured his back or whatever it was in a tackle in his Luton debut or towards the start of his Luton career. So I mean, like, the guy's clearly as unlucky in his personal career as we are in our season and past few seasons. He was so good. He was so good. Hopefully, I mean, you got to imagine Baptiste is going to just come in and replace him like for like. Well, not like for like player wise, but as in position for position. So, you know, it's a chance for that man to really step up and prove what he's worth. But look, I think Holmes was by far and away man of the match, and not even because of his own admissions, but I thought he made everyone else in that back line look better. He made Jules look like a really good defender, which is something that we haven't said much this season so far. And he just made everything look so easy. He looked forward with the ball. He was good. He won most, if not everything, in the air. He was, and he celebrated their offside goal like he just scored. So it was everything you could really imagine from a debut, 10 out of 10. And I mean, it's kind of poetic justice that he got injured, because I don't think I've seen a debut better personally.
No, it was very, very good. Jose had a phenomenal game. Look forward to getting him back ASAP. Yeah, obviously 8 weeks' time should take him mostly around the similar time that we're expecting Nombe to be back as well. So by mid-November, we might have a hell of a team to take us into the new year, hopefully. Bill Bennett says something we can't do anything about for now. For the time being, we need others to step up and make sure it won't seem like too much of a miss in the games coming. Yeah, Mick, and I think the good thing about Tom is that he played and he kind of set a bar, really.
Wow.
And now it's up to the players to try and match that bar for Zach Jules to say, okay, well, this is what we do. This is how we're going to do it. I need to step up as leader because Baptiste obviously is a youngster. So hopefully the team will have taken something from Holmes' performance to then move into Saturday. Yeah,
you would hope so, wouldn't you? You would hope so. It basically showed what's possible. From the players that we've got, because Zach Jules can put in one of those performances. He's more than capable of doing it. We've seen it. Maybe not quite as commanding in the air, but we've seen his capabilities, and he knows what his capabilities are. So hopefully, it's given him a shot of confidence to kick on a little bit from his poor starts at season, which I'm sure he would admit himself. He's lacked confidence. He's lacked confidence, hasn't he? So hopefully, he will step up. We've got some experience back there anyway. We've still got the experience, in Rafferty, in James, but they are not out and out central defenders, are they? And that's where we struggled a little bit. Hopefully it won't be too big of a miss on Saturday at Wimbledon, but who knows? But yeah, he's had a very, very positive effect. So let's just get this injury sorted, and hopefully we can kick on. Because like you said, and like has been said in the comments there, come sort of November, December time, when we've got a slightly less crowded treatment room, we should have a decent team.
Yeah, we should. Harry says, like I said, if fully fit, he believes it's a side that can challenge for the playoffs. Josh Kestrel's joined us as well. So Scott Kent says Saturday will be a telling point of how much we'll miss him if we don't see the leadership at the back. Yeah, and that's the question, Scott. Is what's the character of this team going forward? Because we won on Saturday. We weren't perfect, but we were pretty good.
Yeah.
And what's the character of this team to take that and move it into a game, which is playing Wimbledon or a decent enough team, but they're no Cardiff City. So this is an opportunity for them to take that, to hopefully take a bit of momentum. And I agree with Scott, it's a bit of a test of character.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like Mick said, this is hopefully the time now for Jules to kind of step up after last Saturday. He was a lot back to like he was a lot last season. And hopefully Saturday just kind of gave everybody a bit of confidence, because I think we've got a young squad, but we have still got a lot of experience in there with Rafferty, James. The midfield were quite young. Coletta and Hall. We've got some experience at the back, but I think we've got so much potential in other areas. And a lot of times this season, I watch and I just think they maybe just lack a little bit of belief when something kind of goes wrong, where we go 1-0 down or we just get knocked out of a stride, and it kind of just falls down a bit and the belief starts to dip. But you could see with Tom Holmes, he were constantly shouting at people and just organising, and I think people fed off that, and I think he gave the bit of confidence that they was lacking, and then their ability just came through. So it'll be interesting what they do on Saturday, because like you said, we've still got people there, but obviously we switched to a 4 at the back, didn't we, on Saturday? So it's what we do with that from the start, because I will think about it, because Rafferty's the captain. He is the official captain, isn't he? So, and all the signings we've made seem to indicate Hampshire wants to primarily be a 3-5-2. So I think he's always kind of earmarked Rafferty for the right of a back three. But then with Holmes out, does Jules go into the middle and Baptiste on the left, or do we go to a 4? I'm not quite sure. I'm not really sure how Wimbledon. I think Wimbledon play more 3-5-2 as well. But yeah, I think hopefully Saturday's just proven to a lot of people that we can do it.
Yeah, I agree. Bill Vernon said, respectfully, Wimbledon is a good team to be playing at this time. Josh Caswell similarly says, I think the game is winnable, but I also think Wimbledon will try to frustrate us, struggling to see where the goals are going to come from. Yeah, that's not ideal. Let's touch on other business first. I just want to mention our only international was Johnny Martha. He played about 20, 30 minutes in the first game. Didn't get on as a substitute in the second game. Curacao, did we decide on Curacao?
Yeah.
Decided on one of those two pronunciations. So he didn't play the second game, so hopefully he always didn't get injured. But obviously, there's
fell down steps on playing on my own.
But also, obviously, it's a trek back, obviously back to England from there. So when will he get back? When will he be fit? Question marks. We don't know when the Martha's going to be fit enough to start, kind of thing. But we'll find out on Saturday for that one. Josh Caswell said, I think it is a positive, though, as Wimbledon had 2 red cards. Wimbledon had 2 men sent off last week, so the better players, I think, are suspended for this one. So that's a positive. Tom, on the last show, somebody asked us about JJ and his performance against Exeter. How did you see him? 20 minutes, half an hour, something like that, when he came on. But bear in mind, he's coming back to fitness. Oh, hang on. No, Danny's in the comments. Evening, troops. Only our second visit to Plough Lane. Maybe a JJ can bag like last time. What did you think of him? Because I thought it was. I thought kind of what I want from JJ in that circumstance. He was positive. He was aggressive. He was pressing, but without being anything spectacular.
Yeah, and there was so much rust there. And I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that, because he's clearly still making his way back to not even fitness, but just absolute game. You know, you can probably count on your one hand how many games he's played in the last 3-4 years at a competitive level. You know, and to throw him on when he did, obviously he had no choice. I think at that point, was it Hall that? Yeah. Anyway, he had no choice at that point. But look, I agree. I think he won his fair share of headers. He pressed. He looked quicker than Hugo, but I mean, I think it was his best game, Hugo's best game in that shirt. So I mean, for me, I'd still use JJ as an impact sub. I can't see him starting. If that was where your question was going to lead, is, you know, with the Tete being out, would you reckon JJ would lead the line? I can't see that happening, because look, there's clearly something in him that both Hamshaw sees and we've seen glimpses of, but he's not a ruthless striker. He's not someone who's going to score you goals, and neither is Hugo, in my opinion. They're just players that are impactful in their own ways, sort of, you know, get you up the pitch, press, etc. So it's going to be interesting to see who starts. But for me, I'd start with the team that ended the last game, bar, you know, a few injuries here and there, and people coming off due to fatigue and stuff. So yeah, I mean, maybe this is the game for him, as Danny said. I mean, last time we played Wimbledon, at Wimbledon he scored the only goal. So yeah, maybe it's time for a bit of a redemption arc. And you know, football fans and their redemption arcs, it goes hand in hand. So yeah, I'm there for it if it happens. But for me, he's super rusty still, and I don't think we'll get a good JJ for another few weeks, if a couple months, and not because he didn't impact the game, but because he's just. I mean, there was that left-footed shot from the left-hand side of the box that was just super slow, get it out of his feet, and then took a wild swing at it, and you could just tell that was pure rust. And I think a sharper JJ, puts it in. I think. Or at least should do, of a striker of his clear quality in that situation.
Yeah, Yeah, and I think the Hugel's performance on Saturday, which we talked about loads, that takes the pressure off forcing JJ in, really. Because if Hugel had a stinker just playing up on his own, we would have had to do something to improve it because of how bad it was. But Hugel on his own was absolutely brilliant, and you've got Martha coming back who can maybe play a 3 with him along with somebody else. You don't have to rush JJ back. You can just give him another 20 minutes, half an hour. Same against Stockport, and just really gradually bring him back into the team, because it looks like it might work with Hugel on his own for the time being.
It will if there's two players alongside him or up with him that have got a bit of pace in there, and JJ might be that person to partner maybe Martha on that other side as a front three-ish. I don't know. We'll see. I've got some sympathy with Phil's point of view here. JJ, he's 25 and we're still commenting about his potential. We do need to see a more complete player, and I suspect JJ himself recognises that as well. And I think we probably will, so long as he don't break his toe. Somebody run over his toe in car park or whatever. Because the injuries are not necessarily the same sort of injuries. The injuries he's had are not the same injuries that we're constantly suffering from other players, are they? The kind of freak injuries to a degree, to a certain degree. But you're right, Phil's right. We've got to see that player. And I think this is make or break time for JJ now in terms of his career at Rotherham United, given the nature of his contract. So, I listen. He's fit. He's fit enough. He's training with the first team. Get him in there. Play him up there alongside Hugel, or maybe slightly behind. It brings us pace. It brings us aggression. It brings a long throw. It brings things to the team that we haven't already got up there. So he might be rusty, but the rest of them are rusty as well, or have been up until recent games. So now get him in for me.
From start.
Yeah, get him in.
No,
look, we need somebody up there who's got that pace, who's got that aggression, who's got that fight. And with the greatest respect to Johnny Martha, he is not a physical presence, whereas JJ is. He'll win headers. He'll fight for the ball. He's got pace to get in behind. Get him in. Get him in for me.
Fair enough. Well, what's your take on it, Scott? Because obviously last week we kind of when it changed formation, it was Denzel Hall and Coletta. We'll talk about Denzel Hall. But I think it's unlikely he'll start either way. So then you've got to work out, if you are just going to play Hugel as a striker, who are those other two going to be, or do you go right? Like Mick's just said, do you start JJ?
Yeah. No, I don't think I'd start JJ. I'd have him on bench.
I agree.
I'm same as everybody with JJ. I really want JJ to just live up to what some people keep saying that the potential he's got. But like Tom said, he had that one chance on his left foot, and he sent to taken. It was like I was watching it. I'd had a drink as well, but it must have been strong because it was so slow. And then with it 8 minutes added on, and there were a few times ball got kind of cleared up towards him, and it kind of just bouncing off a bit. I mean, he did win a fair few headers, but in the last 4 or 5 minutes, it kept coming off him, and I'm thinking that's where we wanted like a Hugel just to win us this free kick and just kind of kill the game. It kept coming back in that last 4 minutes. But yeah, I think I'd, like I said, I know we're going to touch on Denzel Hall, so I won't go on to that. I know Coletta, but he maybe has to go across to Denzel Hall's position. Martha's coming back. What's he going to be like after whenever he's arrived back in country? I mean, I've seen in the press conference today, we've got a full midfield. Everybody's back. So, but again, I thought Gore had his best performance for us on Saturday in the deeper position. Prior to that, you'd probably say Gore would kind of go up close to Hugel. But do you give Powell a bit more freedom and put Spence in? Or basically, it's an hard one, isn't it? I think it's, without knowing how Denzel Hall is, and it's an hard one. But I think I would keep Coyote on the bench just because I don't think Hugo's got 90 minutes in him, and we've got nothing else then to put on up front in a kind of same a target man type placement.
Yeah, no, that's fair. We'll wait and see. Let's touch on the injuries now, though, Tom, because as Scott mentioned, fully fit midfield, which means Keane Spence is available. Josh Benson is probably assuming he doesn't get injured on Friday, he should be available because he played in the midweek every reserve game, so they both played the midweek friendly game. There's also really positive news on Denzel Hall that he might be back for Saturday. If not, it will definitely be back for the Stockport game. Lenny should be back in contention for the Stockport game.
Yeah.
Tete's injury is not as bad as was really expected, although I don't think Saturday is for him. There's a group of players there, some for Saturday, some for next Saturday, where we're going okay, there's some real options coming in here.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, the whole midfield being back is quite funny, isn't it? Because I think before the season started, we all said on paper it was the best midfield that we'd seen for a while. And it's not quite gelled. It's not quite happened yet. But as Scott said then, I thought Dan Gore had his best game in that holding midfield position. So for me, I don't think you can play Yearwood or Kelly because they do the same job. But I think it's Gore's position to lose now. I thought he was, alongside Holmes, our best player on the pitch. I think Spence, I think everyone else sort of is just a something to... I think that midfield three that we played with Gore, Powell and McWilliams is probably theirs to lose as opposed to the other lads to come in. And I don't care about this whole like how you train stuff. You know, I think unless you want to change the game tactically, then you stick with that midfield three. And I think pushing Powell and McWilliams a bit higher up the pitch gives you a bit more energy, etc. And I think, as people are saying in the comments, to put Spence in, I'd bring Spence in on 60 minutes, 65 minutes, just to change the game a bit, bring a bit of extra energy. But other than that, I can see Martha one wing, Coletta the other wing, and Hugo through the middle. And again, as Scott said, because not that I wouldn't want JJ starting, because I think all points are valid about him, you know, needing to prove himself. But if you look to that bench and you've got no recognised striker, then it's tough to replace Hugo, who isn't going to play 90 minutes. You know, he's just not got it in his locker to play that period of time at sort of what he does best, which is riling up the opposition. So it's kind of, I think back four is pretty solidified due to injuries. But I think even if Denzel Hall is back in time on Saturday, it'd be a risk putting him straight in. So I think you're going to have to probably at least see him on the bench, if not, you know, omitted from the squad because of how quick a turnaround it's been. But I mean, look, I didn't expect to wake up this morning and see Tete, well, more or less our entire team back for next week, barring, you know, Holmes and Nombe. It's a surprise, but it's, you know, it's as I can't remember who said it, but you know, playoffs in November, the playoff charge is well and truly up. Yeah, not really, but yeah, I think. And Sheriff's back next week as well. So,
Sheriff's back next week as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hopefully with the team fully back, training can intensify and sort of be a little bit better in that regard. And by mid-November, when Sam Nombe gets back and Holmes should be back around that time as well, you're looking at a full strength squad, which is on paper pretty good. So yeah, you'd hope that if they can find some form, then going into Christmas we can be a top team. But yeah, this is we just got to ride out the next few weeks and try and grind it out, I think.
Yeah, Nombe mid to late October.
That was it
today.
Yeah.
So we're kind of potentially just over a month away from Nombe being back, which is pretty exciting. Again, bear in mind there's not loads of Saturday, Tuesday fixtures, and potentially another international break in there, which would be handy if we could not play during the international break. But I think it's Northampton, so we probably will. Back to midfield though, Mick. Tom asked, would you play Spence, decent goal scoring midfielder? Yeah, well, 14 in 2 seasons for Barrow, which is more than Powell gets. Scott Kent said he would play Spence over Powell at this moment in time. Powell doesn't look on it. Billy Glennon agrees with him, but Kelly probably says it's difficult to leave one of the three midfielders out when you've just won a game, Mick. And that was the best midfield performance of the season so far. But Kean Spence is this guy, kind of is what Hampshire wants. His aggression is really, that energy that he wants in that midfield. Mm-hmm. So would you dump him straight on, or do you agree that those three have probably earned the shirts again?
I would be a manager, eh? I mean, this goes back to the argument with this is very similar to what we had with Victor and Josh Vickers. Victor gets out injured. Josh Vickers is awesome. Victor don't get his place back when he's fit. And the same applies here. I would suggest, as far as Spence is concerned, he comes with high hopes that he's going to be a really good player. He's got to win his place. For me, the midfield was excellent last week. I wouldn't change it, but not to start with anyway. And bring him on later in the game and make him fight for his place. That's what these players do. Ordinarily, when a team's got a fully fit squad, players are constantly fighting for their place, and when they get the opportunity, they've got to take it. So these three have taken it last week. For me, I accept what people are saying about Joe Powell. He's not at the moment. He's not on it. However, I think last season showed us that he'll have 2 or 3 games where he's not, and then all of a sudden, bang, he's back in there. That's the point at which, as soon as he drops off in future, he loses his place. But at the moment, given the performance last week, I'd stick with the same 3 and make some changes in the second half, give the other lads an opportunity to stake a claim for the place, I think. But you just don't know, you don't know what's been happening in training. You don't know what the manager and management team have got in terms of Wimbledon and what they expect from Wimbledon. That might change because of the opposition, or it might change because of other knocks. Who knows? But stick with the same for me.
Yeah, but Harry had Josh Benson back as well, Scott, because he's another central midfielder who gives you something different to the. I think he's more. I haven't seen him for 20 minutes. I think he's a more technical player than the other players that we've got, other than maybe Powell. It is tempting to make those changes, I guess, when you've got these new players back that you've not kind of used before. I imagine it's quite tempting for Matt, I'm sure, to think, well, why don't just chuck them in? But last week was really, really good.
Yeah. It must be strange looking at the bench and seeing a full bench of fit players. I'm saying I can't claim to have really seen anything of Benson, so I'm purely going off what I've heard. And the kind of general feeling is when he is fit, but that's the main problem and probably why he's with us and not Barnsley didn't keep him. He's a really good player, but yeah, I agree with Mick. In terms of midfield, I'd stick with the same 3. I mean, Powell were off set pieces pretty much all Saturday, weren't they? I think Gore were taking, from what I can recall, most of the corners, if not all of them. And I still thought Powell had a decent game. I don't think he were. If we're judging him on last season, I don't think he was good as last season, and I don't think he has been so far this season. But I'd still keep with Powell for the time being because I do really rate him. So yeah, I'd stick with the same 3 midfield.
Yeah, Josh Carswell said, I think Powell's been doing okay. Need to ease expectations from him. His set pieces weren't great, but we have Go. Otherwise, he's doing fine. Jamie Wilson kind of got, and I like Powell. His set pieces and crossing haven't been good at all, but I think he's a big player for us. Go can do those set pieces. And he's just dependable, isn't he, Joe Powell? He's touch wood, not been injured yet, unlike most of the rest of the squad. Is there anything else on the lineup? We've kind of swam through everything quite quickly in terms of how we think we're going to set. Was there any other question marks that anybody has over the starting lineup? We've kind of ticked everything off there, haven't we?
Yeah. I think if you really go into the nitty gritty, I think the only thing you can change is the midfield, and I think we've just discussed there that it's kind of tough to change a winning midfield. And I know I understand everyone's concerns with Powell because he's such a he's not had the greatest start to the season. I think he would admit as well. But what he's been lacking in quality, I don't think anyone can argue his lack of effort and endeavour and getting about the pitch. So I mean, a player like him, it's inevitably going to happen. Whether or not it's now or in a few weeks' time, it's going to happen. And we're just in a state of we're lucky at the moment where we've got so many good players to come in if he's not performing to the levels that he should be. So maybe that gives you a bit of a spurt as well, because you got to remember that start of the season, I think it was Kelly and Yearwood are the only two that were fit alongside the midfield three that we've got at the minute. So you're bringing in another 2 and 3 to that. So yeah, we'll. I'll be interested to see how he plays.
Tom Case says power reminds me of Ben Wiles, because even when he's having a bad game, he still wants the ball and doesn't hide. Yeah, absolutely. I think he's one of those, Mick, that he's such a good-looking footballer. Not in the sense of your calendar, but when he's on the ball and when he's moving the ball, it's just silky. It's smooth. He's a good-looking when the way he plays football. So then when we don't get those end products, when we get bad crosses, it maybe fuels even more frustration because he just looks good when he's on the ball.
Yeah, it's a bit of a double-edged sword for him, I think, because he looks fantastic on the ball, like you said, smooth, silky, and everything else, and then his pass falls half a yard short, or his cross is 6 inches too low, or whatever. But in that respect, he's suffering the same as a lot of other players, and I've talked about this to you a lot. You know, so many passes are 6 inches too short or 6 inches too long. We just not quite hitting what we need to hit, almost in every department. But you can see that it is coming and it is progressing and it is starting to come together. We all knew it was going to be a slow process. Joe Powell, I think, he's suffering the same way as everyone else. And that's going to affect your confidence. You know, you misplaced a few passes. Despite what's been said, he is always looking for the ball. Yeah, I accept that. But, you know, you play a pass too short, the next one's going to be too long because you overcompensate and so on. I don't know. He's a good player. He's a really, really good player. And on his day, he's arguably one of the best midfielders in this division. If he was on his day every single 90 minutes that he played, he wouldn't be in this division, you know. So he is when he's at his best, he's championship quality without a shadow of a doubt. So it's up to Matt Amshaw to be able to just nurture that a little bit, innit? And we as supporters, we're gonna have to be patient because we know what he can do, we know what he's capable of. But you know, if he consistently doesn't produce it, he's gonna lose his place.
Yeah. So I was like, right, there's people that can take his place, which we didn't have last year. That was part of the problem. Yeah. Last year we were with some of the squad. Kelvin says, I can add this on the plus side. Matt Amshaw can change midfield, play a slightly different way depending on the opposition. He now has options, which is great. Yeah, absolutely is. Something we've not had for a while since the Bible season and Championship. Really, that's the last time we had options. Really. So yeah. Right, ref watch Lee Swaby. Don't know. Lee Swaby.
That rings a bell.
I don't think there's any particular issues with him, as far as I can remember. I have written his name down and then not written down any of the fixtures that he's refereed us in. So you are going to have to bear with me while I get his information back up through Transfer Market.
Is Swaby not a championship referee?
No, he's on League 2 this year. Okay. He refereed last time he refereed was the Stockport defeat away last year, so the 3-1 defeat at Stockport. Before that, it was when we beat Gillingham 3-0 in 2019, so it's a bit of a gap between things. So I don't really remember anything from the Stockport game. Although, yeah, we should have had a penalty.
Yeah, when Wilkes got taken out, and then they went up the end and scored.
Yeah, so other than giving us a goal, costing us the game, yeah. Other than costing us the game, I don't remember anything wrong.
Yeah, decent lad.
God. We'll see. We'll hope for the best. Tom K and Harry saying should have had a pen. Yeah, we should. Our record against Wimbledon is fantastic. Only one defeat against the current iteration of Wimbledon. If you go back to the original Wimbledon, we've only lost 1 in 13 against them. So for some reason, our record against them is pretty good. On the second visit to their stadium, I can't remember what it's called, And we remember what their stadium's called?
Cherry Records. Is it Cherry Red Records? Or
something like that.
Yeah. My second visit, first on Saturday, so I suspect there'll be a few Rotherham fans going down on Saturday, hopefully making some noise and backing the players. We've got a couple other bits to mention in terms of kind of random, non-necessary Rotherham United related stuff. New EFL playoff thing we'll talk about in a second as well, because I like it. But let's just do predictions for the Wimbledon game before we move on to kind of any other business. So as I said, I'm going to get other people to do my predictions for me. So far, they've been pretty sensible until this week. I've asked my nephew to predict it, my 7-year-old nephew to predict it, and he thinks we're going to lose 10-1. So thanks for that, Nick. Mick, Wimbledon are on a run of 5 defeats in a row in all competitions, 1 League Cup, 1 other one, Virtue Trophy. So and the 2-man set up last week. What's your prediction?
I'm going to stay positive. I think we will get a victory this time. I think we will. I'm going to go with my good old trusted favourite, 2-1 Millers. In fact, no, I'm not. I'm going to go 2-0 Millers. Another clean sheet. 2 clean sheets on the trot for Cam Dawson.
Perfect. Scott, what do you reckon?
I will between 1-0 and 2-0. So I think I'll go 1-0 to us, given Mick's had 2-0.
Like style. And Tom?
Because I'm going to say 3-1 Rotherham.
3-1 to the Millers.
Yeah.
No, again, I haven't done an updated league table, but Sam has got 3 correct score predictions already this season.
Oh, go for it.
And I think he's only got 1 result wrong. He predicted us to beat Donny. Other than that, he's got every single result right, and then on the 3 scores correct as well. So I'll do a league table, but Sam might take some beating already. Predictions in the comments. Josh Caswell 1-0, as does Tom K. Millers. Darren Cook says 2-0 to the Millers. Kelly Wilson, I think, was saying 1-0 with Hugo. Danny's helpfully put his prediction in the comments. Has gone 2-0. Thank you very much, Danny. Harry says 1-0 to Wimbledon. Seems like a curse is lifting, so one has to stay. Miller says 0-0. YouTube viewer says 0-1. Paula Rhodes 2-0. Powell and a last-minute Hugo winner. Scoring first is vital, so he goes 0-2. Scott Kent thinks 2-1 to the Millers. Steve Gortley 3-0. Stevie Mick 1-1 and IFCOK 3-1. What would get the bigger cheer for the reaction from the fans? A Jordan Hugo winner or a Coyote winner?
Oh, I think the way the season's going at the moment, Jordan Hugo, he needs a goal. If he gets a goal, or when he gets a goal, because he will score this season at some point, he'll get an absolute heartful because the reins will come off, and if he scores Saturday, he'll have 15 or 16 by Christmas. Telling you now, because I've tipped him to the top goal scorer this season. So you need him to smarten his act up. Come on, Jordan, get it together, lad.
Yeah. Everybody's saying Hugo. Paula, Josh, Steve says it's Hugo. We'll get a big reaction. Fair enough. Might be any kind of winner from anyone will do. That's fair. Scott Kent saying the correct name for Wimbledon is actually Plough Lane. Obviously, they've got the sponsorship deal, but it is Plough Lane, as it was originally. Am I right in saying that's where they played originally, Mick, back when they were originally in Wimbledon?
I don't know whether it's in the same location, but Plough Lane was where the previous Wimbledon played. I assume it's the same place. I don't know, but it was Plough Lane before. Yeah,
it is this. Yeah, it is. It's called the Cherry Red Records Stadium, but it is Plough Lane.
I hate modern sponsors. That's just a terrible name for a stadium. Isn't it? It's just awful.
It's not as bad as Bolton's, though, is it? Come on.
Yeah, the Tough Sheet Stadium. It is kind of brilliant, though.
It is. Yeah. I do rate it there.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for anything better.
No, exactly. Andrew Barlow says, "What's your thought on Slimline Steve, Mick? How good does Steve Evans look?"
I'm on a season ban from.
You can praise him though. He looks good, doesn't he?
Hey, well done, mate. Top work, genuinely top work, because it would have killed him sooner or later. because he was just getting bigger and bigger. So yeah, I'm really pleased for him, and hopefully, it, he's feeling better and good about himself. I'm not. I'm pleased for him. I genuinely am. It's difficult because I know there's people sat at home watching this going, yeah, all right, mate, of course you are. I have no against the bloke as a bloke. Genuinely, I don't, because I don't know him, so I can't have. As a manager, I can't stand him as a manager. But he's that takes some doing. What he has done takes some doing. So hats off, 100%.
Yeah, I agree. Looks good. Talking positively. Sounds different as well. When you interview, it sounded different as well. So I don't know. We'll see. Let's see if he gets back into football. It might be. He's got a grandkid who needs football. Paul Warren. I think Matt just talks about how unhealthy the lifestyle of a manager is. So maybe you don't need it anymore. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with the less big Steve now.
He's been in this business a long time. I'm sure financially he'll be reasonably comfortable. So who needs that stress? Who knows? Yeah,
absolutely. Chris Page says he's joined the Steve Evans School. He's lost 4 stone since March. Cut the crap out of you more healthily. Well done, Chris. It's, again, hell of an effort.
Nice work.
Right, let's touch on the. I don't know if you'll have many views on this. The EFL are looking at changing the playoff structure going forward.
Of course they are.
They're looking to take what the National League have done and do it the same way. So it would become. What's up, Mick?
I've not. This is brand new news to me. So I've not seen this at all. Okay. But yeah, why not? Let's take what the shambles of the National League is doing and destroy everything that's been really, really good about the playoff system for the last however many years. No, it's a great idea. Great idea.
I like it. So I'm going to run through it because I like it. Yeah. So they would move from a 14 playoff to a 16 playoff.
Oh, why?
So what teams are involved?
Well, no, why? Is it nothing to do with money then?
Well, obviously it is obviously.
Right.
But anyway. Yeah. But so the premise would be that let's 1 to 6. So teams in first and second place of the playoffs would automatically go through to the semi-final. So they would still be into the second leg, 2-legged semi-final, and then 3, 4, 5, and 6 would play each other. So 3v6, 4v5 in a 1-legged tie, and the winner of that then goes through to play the first and second team in a 2-legged tie. So it gives more teams more of an opportunity to get into the playoffs, which extends more teams' seasons, which adds more jeopardy into the season. I cannot see a bad reason. The thing that's bad about this. Now you can complain you don't like change, Mick. If you don't like change, that's fine.
Nothing to do with that, is it?
But there's nothing wrong with this.
No,
it works brilliantly. By the way, in the National League, it's fantastic. Their playoff system's brilliant.
It's change for the change's sake, innit? Somebody somewhere in the EFL is trying to get themselves a better job, so they've come up with some stupid idea that they think they're going to make them some more money in the job. There is no need whatsoever to change what we've got at the moment. It works fantastically well. There's enough jeopardy. There's enough games. It extends the season long enough. I just can't. The only point to do this is to drag more teams in it, so there's more games, more television revenue, more money. That's all this is about as far as the EFL are concerned. Do not, under any circumstances, be under the impression that the EFL give 2 hoots about whether supporters are happy or not, because they do not care. Listen, it's not broke. It is not broke. Don't fix it.
Was it broke before the playoffs were introduced in the first place?
It's improved it significantly, and we've all seen that. Arguably, yeah, it was. It was, because it was definite. It was done. There was no end of the season fun for anybody except the 2 teams that were in 3rd and 4th, usually, maybe 5th and 2nd. You know what I mean? It was very, very little. This is the system as it works at the moment works absolutely beautifully. and it's just enough at the end of the season. We don't need any more weeks adding on. And when you start adding further weeks on and you've got a European Championship or a World Cup, there's no break. There's zero break from football, which we all like. We all like a little bit of break. Not too much, but a little bit. It's just purely and simply, from my point of view, it's a farce, isn't it? The EFL will be changing the tagline, won't they? You know what I mean? If it's not broke, fix it.
I'll come to Tom and stuff in a minute, but just to clarify, sorry, I explained it properly. The automatic places remain unchanged. So in League One, first and second will still go automatically, but then you would get third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. I just used one to set because it was just easier for me to explain because it is a little bit complicated. Other people are saying keep Tom K said it pretty much means every team has something to play for with a month left of the season. Chris Pish says no to that. The top 10 in the playoff will be the next round robin. Next one.
Maybe what they could do is have like this thing where there's a league where everybody plays each other and gets points, and whoever gets most points goes up, and who gets least goes down. I don't know. Instead of, you know what I mean, or just make it a cup competition all season.
Okay. Scott, what's your view? What's the good side? What's the downside? What's your view on it?
I must admit, this is the first I've heard of it. So, what is this getting trialled this season? Did you say?
So the EFL want to bring it in, certainly the Championship. It wouldn't be this season. It would be probably next season or the year after.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, the cynic in me is it's just about money, isn't it? And if it's going to be trialled in Championship, it seems a bit coincidental that you got your Wrexham, your Birmingham.
Yeah.
You know, if they're not finishing in the top 6, let's make it anything to get a Tom Brady, Ryan Reynolds, Sky playoff match. Yeah, I think the playoffs are fine as it is. I can see both points, to be honest, but I think ultimately it's coming down to for money, isn't it? I mean, yeah. I mean, if we ever get to Championship, it's not going to affect us anyway. So, unless
they would have to bring in the entire. You can't. For me, I don't think they should. They should just do the Championship. It's the EFL, so who knows? But go on, Mick.
Yeah.
So just sorry, I know I'm steamrolling this a little bit, but what happened with the 3 up, 3 down? As far as does that still remain? Because that doesn't happen with National League, does it?
No.
So
it doesn't.
So
the 3 up, 3 down should still stay the same. There's no talk of changing how many go up and down.
Yeah, yet. So we don't get as many people coming out of the Premier League.
Well, you couldn't have a 16 playoff and then reduce the number of motions.
Well, they've done it. They've done it in National League.
Well, they never reduced the National League, have they? It's always been 2. They've actually increased it from 1 to 2. Yeah, I don't know. Chris, Peter will put this forward. It should be noted that the Premier League are dead against this, by the way, and that might be the key thing because the Premier League don't want the 8th place team going to the Premier League. Well, what it would be, the 8th place team, because they feel like that'd be uncompetitive. Tom, IUC said I quite like the idea. Could have 8th going to the Prem, but wouldn't that defeat the point of pushing for promotion every season? Yeah, what's your thoughts, Tom?
I think it's silly. Is it bad now? I don't know. Why do you need to change? And I'm not in the.
Can it be better? It's bad, but can it be better? Would this not make it better at all?
Well, can it be better? Because I mean, why? Imagine who finished 8th last season, like Middlesbrough or someone. Imagine if they went up to the Prem, and they got millions and millions of pounds, and it might have changed them for the further down the line, etc. But it just ruins the whole, the whole playoff premise is that you've got 4 teams vying for top 6, and sometimes it goes down to the last day, sometimes it doesn't. But those places are now redundant because the teams below them, an extra 2 or 3 places below them can get them as well. I don't know. I think if you finish 8th in a league season and you have a chance of getting promoted, I just think it feels redundant because you're more or less finishing mid-table and you've got a chance of promotion. I mean, that's not what it's about. It's meant to be the best of the best get promoted. I mean, you could even say, that, if 1st, 2nd, and 3rd get promoted in a season, then you say fair enough if they're the 3 best teams. But I mean, like last season, Sunderland went up largely down to luck because they equalised in the last minutes. They scored winners in the last minutes. They went up down to luck in some cases, but whatever. That's a completely different argument. But then, like I said, imagine if Middlesbrough finished 8th, did the exact same thing, equalised in the last minute, scored in the last minute, and then they went up ahead of teams who are far better than them, had a much better season than them, worked hard, did all this, that, and the other, and Middlesbrough have gone up based on I don't know why I keep saying Middlesbrough, I just assume that they were the one who finished 8th. I don't know. For me, it feels a bit, when does it stop? It's good now, it works now, why change it? And that's not me opposed to change, because in certain scenarios, change is good and change is needed to make things better. But in this case, it's like it's not needed, basically.
Okay. Tom has a point which I quite like. The only good point of this is the likes of Sheffield United last season beat Bristol City by 20 points and had to play them at the same stage. This way, they go through. So the top 2 seeded teams get more of a benefit from this. Whereas you just get the second leg at home, which isn't that much of a benefit, really. This would be a benefit. Which, again, works really nice in the National League. And the 2 National League, North and South as well. Martin Miller, isn't this the brainchild of ex-Leeds chairman Peter Ridsdale now? As Preston, yes, it is. He's now something big at the EFL. Go on,
oh, God. Ridsdale's got a colourful past, hasn't he?
Just some.
Yeah, and it's never. I mean, he's got a colourful past. Never been about money, obviously. Nothing to do with that. I mean, come on. Well, I tell you what. Let's extend it. Let's just top half. Just have top half in playoffs, and then bottom half in playoff for relegation.
What it feels like. That's what it feels like. It feels like if you finish mid-table or top half and you get a chance of promotion, it stops the challenge. It stops the competitiveness because, maybe teams would be more competitive because they know that if they get top half, they get a chance of going up. But for me, it feels like teams wouldn't try as hard. It wouldn't care as much because they just know, well, if we finish 6th, then we're guaranteed a playoff place. Whereas if you finish 6th this season, you have to push to the last game. You have to keep pushing. It feels like less teams would be as bothered because if you have top 6 means something, then team in 10th are going to try, and 9th, 10th, 8th, whatever, are going to keep trying. Whereas if you have top 8 going up, then you have teams up until 6 not really bothered because they're more or less confirmed, and then you have 9, 10, 11, whatever. Yeah, it feels like if you finish top half, you shouldn't just be automatically rewarded.
Yeah, let's see what happens with this one. I think there's a good chance it'll go through, bearing in mind the money that's involved. And it's not just the money getting promoted to the Premier League; it's the TV money as well. The EFL, the Sky will be all over it, won't they? Sky will be buzzing over it. So we may have to get used to it, which I
will have to
really
get used to it. Listen, if it's been floated by the EFL, it's not been floated. It's happening. It will happen. Because the
Premier League. The thing is, the Premier League will have a big say in it because this affects who enters their competition. So the Premier League have to have a say on it.
But isn't it last 2 seasons, the 3 that have gone up from Championship have come straight back down. So I think on the last day of Championship last year, there were about 3 or 4 teams that could sneak in. One of them being Millwall. I mean, you might as well just write that off straight away. I mean, Millwall fans would argue, when are they ever going to get to Premiership? By finishing potentially 8th and getting a few lucky last-minute winners to get through playoffs. But it'd just be, you see Millwall going away to Liverpool, it's just a write-off. It's just be a waste of time for me.
Yeah, and Danny has another good point, which could increase the amount of clubs booming and busting, more chance of a double promotion, hit their limit in one league, overspend and tumble away, domino effect. Yeah, the more chance of promotion, you're more likely to take a risk by spending a bit more money. And then if you fail, so there's obviously negatives and positives.
Something that Peter Ridsdale knows all about, isn't it?
But they had a good time, didn't they? That's all that matters, whatever his quote is, which is wonderful.
Joke.
We'll see what happens. That's obviously not anything imminent. Is there anything else Rotherham United related that you want to talk about? We've touched on as much as we possibly can, really.
Nope, not for me.
Yeah, all good for me.
Yeah, nothing for me.
Good stuff. Right, we will knock it on head then. Thank you all for watching. There will almost certainly... What?
I've got one. No, I thought you were going to some none of the United stuff.
No?
Oh, the LPMC, 29th of November, Cutler's Arms, tickets on sale tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. So get on his social media, follow the link, buy some tickets. Be a great gig. It was fantastic at the Cutler's last time. 29th of November, start your Christmas do there and then.
Should we do it as the New York Talk Christmas do again? Because we did last year.
That's a decent idea, yeah. Why not?
You were really good last year.
Yeah, it was.
Really silly.
Who did we play? Was it Northampton?
Northampton. We beat Northampton 3-0. Is that on a Saturday, Mick, 29th?
Yeah, Saturday, 29th of November. Lee or LPMC are headlining, and then there's some other local bands on as well. So, should be good.
Home to Wickham.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, Danny did. Christmas jumpers at the ready, guys. So I feel a plan coming together for everybody that wants to see Lee. Go on, what's up, mate?
No. Nothing.
Oh, it's because you don't want to wear a Christmas jumper?
No. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, Harry mentioned the reserve game in the midweek. Lots of good minutes for some good players. That was really important as well. So Bailey says Wickham at home will be in pub on the Baltic play.
I like that one, Bailey.
Fair.
I'm staying more than 10 minutes, mate. We so definitely will be.
Yeah. And Kelly Phelps was obviously down for the game in the midweek. So just put out there, the pitches at the training ground are outstanding. Injuries are not to do with the facilities, also not to the pitches, I would add. Yeah, good to hear. As should be with the money they've put into the pitches side of things. Yeah, make sure first of all you've liked and subscribed. If you are for the first time, subscribe. Well, thank you for being with us. Give the video a thumbs up as well if you haven't done so already. That helps. Unlikely to be an instant reaction on Saturday because I'm busy. So there will be nobody to upload it. So that's unlikely to happen Saturday, but not. That depends on a few things, but it's unlikely to happen. So that means we'll be back on Sunday evening, which will be the full review of the Wimbledon game, and hopefully 3 more points, back-to-back wins would be nice, wouldn't it? See what happens. If you listen to iTunes and Spotify, make sure you have followed, subscribed, given 5-star rating, whatever your service provider allows you to do. Thank you, Mick. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Scott. It's been a pleasure to have you with us tonight. We will see everybody next time. Thank you for watching. And as always, up the Millers.
Up the Millers.
Comes for more. 2 for Jensen, 2 for Rotherham. Shoots. Ravel. Ambitious, but brilliant. The sweetest feeling for Rotherham United. What's got around the back? And Richard Wood has done it again. It's done. It's Georgie Kelly.
Do me a favor, drop me off.